Maureen, and I have done a video here for you today that really comes with an important message. And this is the right time to share this message with you because, at this point you've had a lot of information come your way. Over the last number of days, you've gone through some training videos, you've learned about the critical components of internet marketing, what their purpose is, how they fit together. You've seen some tools, you've seen some resources, you've seen my sites, and if you've taken the tour for my primary, which is my internet business, then you've even been exposed to more information. And it's quite a bit to take in this short period of time. And that's okay because you're going through that information collection time frame right now. But what I want to do is kind of take a step ahead here. And when you're ready to get started in a business, whether it's my internet business with me or if you choose to do something else, this process is going to be the same. And so I want to take you through, really what you should expect and give you a couple of tips along the way here because it's really important, and I can't say it enough, to keep things simple and to have a really clear vision of what you're doing and where you're going when you get started. It's like night and day. It makes all the difference in the world, and I want to share with you why. Okay, when you look at this, I'm a visual person, and even though this is simplistic, it can get the point across. Just think of this four-color area here as the path. I always talk about staying on the right path. Think of it as a paved road. And the reason why I say that is because, when you're on a road and, you're in the right kind of vehicle for the right kind of terrain, you have a paved road here and you're in a car or whatever. If you stay on this path and you don't deviate, it doesn't matter how fast you go, you're going to get to your destination. Okay, there is no shortcuts. Everybody starts here, and I'm going to explain what these are in a second. But everyone starts here, and as you move through this path here, and you move through these different phases, then you are going to achieve success. Okay, it just happens because these things all are in order, and if you stay on the path, you will get to where you're going. What happens sometimes is people deviate from the plan and they end up off here on a dirt road someplace. And if you can envision that, think of, being in your car and all of a sudden being off on a dirt road, you're going to hit potholes, it's going to be bumpy, you're going to have to go slow, and it's going to take you a lot longer to get where you're going. You might even get lost. Envision that and kind of relate it to home business. That's what happens sometimes. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of noise. And if you don't stay focused and keep things very simple, you might end up on one of those dirt paths. And in home business, that's what costs you money sometimes. That's what costs you time, causes frustration. So you want to avoid all that because I'm not saying that everything is going to be easy because whenever you're going through a learning curve, not everything is easy. But if you take it one step at a time and keep things simple, you will move forward and go into this momentum phase here. It will happen without question. So these are the four phases. The first one is the setup. When you first get started, you need to get things set up. You need to get your system ready to go. And there's going to be some learning involved as you go through this, but it's critically important to be set up properly because you certainly don't want to start learning marketing and implementing things that aren't going to be value added for your prospects and aren't going to, put them in front of good information. So the setup is your first order of business, so to speak, and that's a critical part of what you do. The next phase is the implementation phase. And this is when you continue your training, continue your coaching, and you start to learn and then implement different marketing techniques. Okay? And these things kind of blend together. There's definitely some work here in the setup that has to happen before anything else, but they really blend nicely because once you're set up, then you start to market immediately and have people entering your funnel. Okay? And so these go hand in hand, and this is the place where there's the most distraction. The only reason for that is because for most people, this is where your learning curve is. That's the only reason for it. If you knew what you were doing exactly from the very beginning, then you would have no issue going from here to here. Absolutely none, because it's all sequential, it all makes sense, it's all just a string of steps that you go through. But because, you're going through a learning curve and you don't know all the answers, that's why it's easy to get off the path. So it's really, really important to move up here and look at these things, because these things are, this is how I teach, this is how I've been taught, and these things really matter. Right from the get-go, if you're working with a mentor or coach who offers one-on-one coaching, who has good training in addition to what the business actually offers, then you're going to be able to work with someone on putting an action plan together. And this is important because this is like your roadmap. This is what you follow, and don't succumb to any of the noise out there. Just stick with your path and you're going to be okay. Now, what's going to happen is that you're not going to know everything. There's going to be some challenges that come up as you're going through this piece by piece. And that's why these two things up here, personal development and mindset, are going to be absolutely crucial for you to be able to make it through. Because when you're feeding your mind the right things, you've got the right attitude, you're ready to learn, and you know that it's not all going to be perfect, but if you just keep it simple and you just take it a piece at a time, you're going to be able to make it happen and you're going to be able to move forward. You might get through a few things real quick, no big deal, and then you stumble on something. But if you've got the right mind frame and you're doing your personal development, that's going to happen, and you just get through it. If it takes you a few days to get through a problem that comes up, who cares? That's perfectly fine, because once you make it through, the next part is probably not going to be a problem. And as you work through that, you're going to find yourself learning, feeling good about what you're doing, because you're going to see results as you keep moving forward. It's when people stop and stand still and don't take action, or find themselves on the dirt path out here doing something else that's not on their action plan, that's when you experience and run into some issues. Okay, you can always find your way back, but it's just better to start here and go at your own pace and follow your action plan, and that way you're going to lead yourself to success. And when I talk about personal development and mindset, we're not going to get into a lot of the details here on this video, but just know that that's something that'll be talked about at the very beginning once you get started. This is something that's 10 or 15 minutes of your day, and I know from me I'll give you definite recommendations, because there's things that are really helpful for new people, new internet marketers at the very beginning, and it's healthy for you to feed your mind these things for 10 or 15 minutes a day. It makes all the difference in the world. It sounds a little bit cheesy sometimes, but I'll tell you what, when you look at the people who've been down this path and they're somewhere in here and here, they do this stuff. The ones that don't, that get stuck in these two areas here, I can tell you right now, they're not doing this stuff, because all that's happened is that they've let themselves get overwhelmed, or they've let themselves get to a place where they've frozen up a little bit and they're not taking action and they're not moving forward. And that's it. It is as simple as that. Are there a lot of pieces? Yes. Is everything simple? No, it's not. You're going to have things you don't know, but just know that you're not out there on your own. You're going to be getting help. You're going to be getting one-on-one coaching and an action plan to follow. And I can tell you from personal experience that that makes all the difference in the world. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video because I can't turn off this Trend Micro here. But anyway, I definitely wanted to get this in front of you. And oh, here we go. And make sure that you feel good about the process that's in front of you, because don't be afraid by it. Don't not take action because you're afraid that you don't know enough to get started. Nobody does, and that's totally normal. You will get help, and this is what your plan is going to look like in terms of just a visual picture. Keep things simple, take it a piece at a time, and you're going to find yourself here. All right, have a great day. I will talk to you soon.